If IBS has you running to the bathroom every 5 minutes and your stomach is constantly embarrassing you in public, then this video is for you. I'm going to talk about two very important steps you need to take to get your IBS and your anxiety under control. Hey, I'm Dr. Sam McDonald. I'm a brain health expert, and this channel is dedicated to helping you rewire your brain so that you can live a better life. If you love this content, make sure to like and subscribe so you get the notifications for each week's new video. So the two steps that I want to talk about are triggers and regulation. And it's important to address both of these together because either one can put you into this vicious cycle that's going to cause the other. So triggers can cause the anxiety, anxiety can cause triggers, so you need to address both in order to get the best results. So specifically when I'm talking about triggers, I'm really talking about food sensitivities. So food sensitivities is when your body no longer reacts to food as being something that's healthy, nutritious, and creates energy, and now it reacts to it as being a foreign invader. So you can have little reactivity to foods and you can have a lot of reactivity to foods, really dependent upon how sensitive you are. So the more sensitive you are to a food, the more reactive you're going to be, the more symptoms you're going to experience. So if you're a person who's really reactive to something like eggs and you eat eggs for breakfast, well, then you're going to get all of the symptoms that come with irritable bowel. You're going to get the diarrhea, you might get the constipation later on, the upset stomach, the noisiness, the gas, the bloating, all those different things. Because your immune system is now attacking this food thinking that it's a foreign invader versus it being something that is really healthy and beneficial for you. So if you don't address the food sensitivities, meaning that you don't do the proper testing to find out what foods you're sensitive to, you're going to keep creating these triggers and keep creating these symptoms over and over again, and you're never actually going to get to the root cause of the problem. It's kind of like having a leak in your tire, and instead of actually fixing the leak or getting a new tire, you just keep putting air in it. Well, you're just addressing the symptoms, you're not actually addressing the cause of the problem. So if sensitivities are a major issue for you, you need to get those addressed, get those tested in order to really correct this particular problem. So the second step in being able to get rid of your IBS and your anxiety is looking at regulation. And specifically, we're looking at the vagus nerve for regulation. So your nervous system has two different states of how you function. You have your fight or flight state, and then you have your resting, digesting, and healing state. Your fight or flight is called your sympathetic nervous system. Your resting, digesting is your parasympathetic system, and your parasympathetic system is primarily controlled by your vagus nerve. So when you're talking about the issues of symptoms of anxiety, well, a lot of times what we see with our clients is that they're going to have low vagal tone, which means that parasympathetic system is really shut off, and now they're more stuck in that fight or flight state all the time. So imagine if you feel like you're being chased by a bear all the time, your brain's going to be in more of an anxious state because it's constantly looking for danger and for threat. And when it comes to having issues with IBS, your body's not in the proper state to digest food. It's more in that survival state. So you're not going to be able to break food down appropriately and do all the necessary things for digestion. So for example, let's say you eat something, you're stuck in this fight or flight state, it's going to move down into the stomach. You're not getting proper signaling from that vagus nerve up to the brain, which means you're not going to produce the stomach acid to break the food down, which means it's going to be improperly digested. You're going to start to get a lot of the discomfort in the stomach because you don't have the acid to do the job. And if you're a person who suffers with acid reflux or GERD, what's going to happen is that muscle at the top of the stomach called your pyloric sphincter, it's what keeps the stomach closed or keeps the stomach and the esophagus separated when the stomach's digesting food. It's not going to close properly, which means that acid in the stomach is going to shoot up into the esophagus and you're going to feel acid reflux. It's going to feel uncomfortable and then you're going to have that burning sensation there. Now, if you're moving that food onto the digestive system and you're not getting that proper vagal communication, you could have really slow motility, which means the food is not moving really quickly through the digestive system. It's going to start to dehydrate, it's going to get really hard, and you're going to get constipated. The other end of that, you may have too much or maybe too fast motility, which means it's going to move through the digestive system too quickly, which means you're going to have diarrhea. So all because your body is not in this properly regulated state, because it's not in the state for resting, digesting, and healing. And this can come from being in that elevated stress state. So in order to really address this part, you have to increase your parasympathetic function. You have to increase your vagal tone in order to really get the regulation part of this two-step process. So remember, you got to have your triggers under control. You got to make sure you take care of that so you're not constantly stressing the system. And then you got to make sure the system is not stressed. You got to make sure that you're in that relaxation, resting, digesting, and healing mode in order to really get your anxiety and your IBS under control. So on that note, you should be healthy by choice, not by chance. And for that reason, I will see you on the next video.